on this computer because I don't want to miss this call. So I'm going to go ahead and hit record because I don't want us to start late, and then as people jump on, they will just get the party started. So we asked our lovely Hayley to do the call today. She was at New Leader Conference with Rachel. So Rachel will be on well. Rachel's always doing a fantastic job talking about what they learned about New Leader. And then Hayley is recently already a busy person, even as of late, and is going to be talking about how she is balancing it while still making her business a priority. So I'm super excited. Not going to waste any time. Hand it right over, and I'm going to mute everyone, Hayley, and then you can unmute yourself.
All right, ready? Okay, well, hi friends. There are some new faces on here, so I'm just going to introduce myself really briefly. My name is Hayley Savens, soon to be Dixon in 110 days. And I am, what am I? I'm a lifetime Star Diamond coach, and I am super excited to talk to y'all tonight about some of the nuggets that I learned at a new leadership conference. I was able to go to that 2 weeks ago with Rachel and Rochelle, and it was amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys right now and just jump right in because I have so much I want to talk to you about. Okay, where is the share screen? There it is. Okay. All right, can y'all see my screen? Yes. All right. Move this little guy. Okay. All right. All right. I need to move my face. I don't need to see my face. Okay. So I titled this Finding and Fighting for Balance, and lots of other NLC nuggets. Because I feel like that is one of the biggest struggles in this business, because we love this business so much. We want to do it all the time, but for the vast majority of us, this is something we do part-time. And so it can feel really overwhelming sometimes to want to do all the things and not have time to do all the things. And so that was one of the things I took away from NLC, and I'll talk to you about that kind of towards the end. But I also wanted to just give you like a, gazillion foot view of all of the things we talked about so that you felt like you were there maybe a little bit. So first of all, if you didn't already know, New Leadership Conference is awesome and you need to go. I just posted a couple of pictures on here of us and just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what NLC is. It is something you have to qualify for, and it is something that once you qualify for it, you can only go one time. So I'll never get to go again. It is for a very small amount of people. Our business has over 400,000 coaches, and there were like 500 people there. This isn't like Summit where it's like a bazillion people. We were in a hotel, and it was just like 500 of us, and it was wonderful. And the teaching was so pointed to this specific pocket of people where they are in their business, and it was just incredible. So they wined and dined us. You can see Rachel and I. It was also my birthday, and so I just felt like, yay, we get to drink wine and celebrate my birthday at this fun thing too. And we got to work out. I don't know if you guys follow any of the top coaches in our network, but that middle picture, Rachel and I show up in the hotel gym super early on the first morning, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna knock out our workout early. And then I guess we forgot that we're a bunch of like health and fitness coaches, and so of course everyone was there. But it was so fun because we got to work out with Melanie Mitro and Kim Fitzpatrick, which was so fun, and then a bunch of other people too. And then obviously on the right, we got a live workout with Autumn doing cardio flow. She even wore the same outfit that she wore in the video for that specific day, which I thought was so fun. So it was just an amazing experience. And so this should be a goal of yours right now to get an invite to next year. Okay. First little nugget. This is something I took away, not necessarily that somebody said, but just the overall vibe from everybody that shared. We heard from specifically Melanie Mitro, Kim Fitzpatrick, and Bonnie Engel. They were the three coach speakers that were featured, as well as a bunch of people from corporate. And my biggest takeaway was no matter how big you get in this business, we are all needing to focus on the same thing. Get back to basics. That is how your business will thrive. You need to be doing your vital behaviors every day. You need to be tracking your business, and you need to be learning what is evolving in social media, what is changing in Facebook and Instagram and everything. And you need to change with it, because if you don't, if you continue to do things the same way that you've always done them while the climate of social media is changing, you're going to get left behind. So that was a huge encouragement just from everybody. Basically, evolve or die. That's a little morbid. Sorry, guys. Okay. The next thing, we talked about social media a lot. Okay. And there are so many things I could share with you. Genevieve has done a great job of sharing a lot of her tips. But I want to just share a few little nuggets with you. Generally, for all of social media, we need to get really focused on the curiosity marketing. We are not in the business of just sharing everything that there is to know about something, because what happens when you say you do a live video and you say, I'm doing 80-day obsession with Beachbody from Autumn Calabrese, and I'm drinking Shakeology, and these are the portions that I follow, and blah, 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 blah. Once you've done that, you've given somebody everything they possibly need to go and do this on their own, and then they don't need you. So they can go order online without you, and you've lost a customer. So little breadcrumbs here and there is where it's at, and that's how you will attract people. I loved this. I forget which one of them said it. I think it might have been Kim, but she said, we need to first attract people, then we need to connect with people, and then we invite them. And if you just do that process over and over and over, you're going to build wonderful relationships and really get a lot of clients. She also talked a lot about turning your mess into your message. I talk about this a lot with my personally sponsored coaches specifically. We want to be really authentic in what we're sharing. And don't ever think that something that's going on in your life is too messy to share, because that is where you'll really connect with people. She also talked about posting unapologetically. Be real in what you post, but also be relatable. You don't want to go on this like whole Debbie Downer post, but sometimes that's real life. And sometimes you need to share the hard stuff that's going on in your life. But also be relatable to people. Don't make it so specific to you that other people don't want to read it. And then be resourceful, offer tips, add value, that kind of thing. Use brand identifying attributes. So those are things like being consistent with your pictures, using the same filter. Jen talked about that in one of her previous trainings. Making your brand specific to you and being consistent anytime you're doing that. If that's like, I think of Jackie uses a lot of emojis in her posts, so I always know when it's a Jackie post. Or like, for example, Rachel on her Instagram stories, she uses a lot of the same fonts, or I love her little squiggly arrows. I was thinking about that earlier today. Just use something, it can be even as teeny tiny as a squiggly arrow, that is authentic to you and consistent. So people start to realize that you have a brand. Pull out the potential. So when you are posting something, you're not just posting to share about your life, like Jen said last time, but you are wanting to really dial into the people that you're talking to and make them think, I could do that. Make them think that there is something inside of them that you see that you want to pull out. Okay. So crafting your posts around that. I know I'm like breezing through these, but this is not where I want to laser in on. So if you have questions about this later, just let me know. Always end your posts in a call to action. This does not need to be, hey, my next challenge group is starting next week. You should join me. It can be a very subtle call to action, but something that prompts a response in people. And then take it offline. After you've posted something, after you've, and somebody has commented on it, don't make it a whole comment thread of like, having the conversation. Get to take it offline, schedule a phone call or even an email conversation that's more personal is better. And then some specific things for Instagram. I talked about it a little bit like right before the call or right after the call last week, but some new things for Instagram. Search hashtags to find new people to add to your market or add to your, I'm blanking, network. these are things like that are specific to you. Don't use and search hashtags that only a coach would use, like Coach Life is Best or Shakeology, hashtag Beachbody. Don't use those. Use things that are specific to your life right now, what's going on in your life. So me specifically, like Jessica said, I'm getting married soon. And so a lot of my hashtags I'm searching for are like Bride to Be 2018, I'm getting married. I always do a daily one, so like 110 days for today. And I will find people that are in my same stage of life. And so that's a really good way to add to your network there. And then what I do is once I find those people, go to the next thing, like a few of their posts, comment on a few of their posts, add them, start following them, and then send them a message. This is something that Bonnie shared. I didn't think to do this before. I was just thinking, try to get the ad, but start up a conversation right away. And Instagram is such a cool market for this because it's not as personal as Facebook is. And it would not be weird at all to send somebody a message like this. So the message that Bonnie said to send, and I've been doing it and it's been working really well. I have like 1 million links out right now and people need to buy, but whatever. So you do your liking, your commenting, your adding, and then you send them a message that just says, hey girl, you may have noticed that I liked and commented on a few of your posts. I actually found you because I'm getting married this year too. So exciting. How's wedding planning going? I just love your feed. You're so positive. Are you a coach too? And what that does is it's not icky at all. You're commenting the crap out of them. You're connecting with them on a personal level. And then you're already opening the door for a conversation about coaching. I've had a couple of people that I've gotten to add to sneak peeks because of that message that I've sent. So do that. Instagram stories are where it's at. If you're not doing Instagram stories, you need to be doing them. This is, your posts need to be, really crafted and things that really draw people in. And then your Instagram stories are where you just show your everyday life and bring the reality. Don't post more than like 12 stories a day because I can tell you from personal experience, if I go to somebody's Danielle Natoni, and I see 30 Instagram stories, I don't watch them. I skip, because I'm not going to sit there for 20 minutes and watch your Instagram stories. 5 to 12 is like the sweet spot where people will actually watch the whole thing. She talked about recommending other things that can add to your credibility that are not just like Beachbody products. So Bonnie, for example, is pregnant right now. So she's recommending things like belly creams that she really likes and nursery furniture and stuff like that. So that will build your credibility with people. Like I said before, talk about your personal life, where you are in your life, but also show things that make people, remember that you're a coach. So your commitment to your fitness routine, that's where you can post a sweaty selfie. Not every post on Facebook needs to be a sweaty selfie, but you can sure as heck do an Instagram story every day of, hey, finished my workout. Whoa, I'm so sweaty. But, I did a couple of videos today. And at the end of my video, I was like, cardio sucks. Because I did cardio flow today. But your commitment to your fitness routine and just be you. Instagram stories, that's a great time for you to just your day in the life of a coach, and specifically when you're a part-time Beachbody thinking I have to do this full time or I'm never going to reach a certain level. But through an Instagram story, you can show how it's totally possible. Rachel does a really good job at this, and I tried to do it last week and got distracted. But, doing your stories in the morning and then at lunch, it's like, hey guys, it's lunchtime. I'm going to do a couple things real quick. And then at the end of the, when your workday is over, you hop back on and you're just showing people that it's totally doable because it is. And that's what we want people to know. Okay, Kim Fitzpatrick talked a lot about the customer experience, and this was like, gut wrench for me. When you are leading a challenge group, that is like the core of what we do, right? We get people to leave healthy and happy and fulfilling lives through these challenge groups that we run. And if your challenge groups suck, you're doing a bad job. So focus on the customer experience. Meet people where they are. You're going to have people from all over the place, all different levels of fitness, and you need to connect with them on a real level and meet them right there at that starting point. she talked a lot about taking time out of your day to make their day better. That's what you're here for. You are an accountability coach, and fitness is just the tip of the iceberg for us. This was the part that was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Live up to the expectation for the coach you've promised them that you'd be. So if you invite somebody to a challenge group and you're like, I'm going to do this for you, and I'm going to do this for you, and I'm going to do this for you, and then they get into your challenge group and the only thing you're doing is posting scheduled posts, and you're not ever following through with people, you're not ever commenting on things, you're not ever checking in with them, that's not the coach you promised them. All right. So really think about that. Really kind of take that into consideration when you're, be authentic. We don't want to be hypocrites. Lead from the front. You need to be the best challenger ever. If you are expecting your challengers to show up, you need to show up too. One thing that I learned that was really cool, and this is my own kind of spin on it, but you have basically two options. When somebody is out there needing a fish, you can either hand them a fish or you can teach them how to fish, and they'll be fed for the rest of their lives. What we want to do is teach people how to do things on their own. You're making little mini coaches in your challenge groups every single day. If somebody asks you a question, don't just give them the answer. Tell them how to find the answer. Really empower them to do this for themselves. And that fades in and out a little bit. Sometimes you give it all to them if they need it right then because they're in a place where that's really what they need. But for the most part, teach them how to be resourceful. Be present. Kim says she actually responds to every single comment in her groups herself, not her assistant, herself. I know some people have assistants right now. I'm not there yet. I really want to be, but I'm not there yet. And so this is a big thing for me, but that means that is going to be a priority for me, is really actually commenting on everybody's posts. And then something she left us with was we need to be championing the life or the quality for all people. And I just loved that. Some little nuggets on just growing your business. Something Melanie said was like, are you being productive or just busy? Because there's a difference. And that was like, ooh, okay. She said, stop doing lists are way more important than start doing lists. So instead of okay, I need to start doing this, I need to start doing this, I need to start doing this, think about the things that are getting in the way of your productivity and cut those out first, and you'd be amazed at how much your productivity grows. The flywheel effect, this is just an encouragement for you guys. The flywheel effect basically says when you are consistent over and over and over and over, you will see results, and they compound over on top of each other. So be consistent. Something that they said a lot was intentions are meaningless, decisions are everything. So I know a lot of times in this business, I've been so guilty of this. We can think, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But if you don't actually decide to do something, that it doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference unless you decide to do it. So make decisions, not intentions. Talked a lot about leadership ladder. Just one little nugget on leadership ladder. Basically, there is a lot that you can do to grow the volume, because a big barrier for people to reach that next, team leader status is the 5,000 week leg volume. But there were a lot of things that they told us that we could do to grow that volume. And I'll skip down a little bit. One thing is, you have existing customers. Tell them about all of the products that they have. It's not just workouts and Shakeology that we offer. There are a million other things that people can take advantage of. If your veteran challengers aren't drinking Energize every day, that is a huge thing. It's incredible, and they're going to want it because once they try it, they're like, why haven't I been drinking this? But it also is a way to get more volume for those people that are already challengers that you have. And then you need to be talking about Shakeology consistently in your challenge groups to increase Shakeology retention, to then continue to grow your volume. How many times have you signed up somebody as a discount coach and they get 1, maybe 2 months of Shakeology and then they're off? And it's like, oh, I have all these inactive coaches and I could be diamond or whatever, and I'm not because all these people are inactive. I know that's a big problem for a lot of people. It's because they don't believe in Shakeology. People, if they believe in Shakeology, they will drink it no matter how much it costs. So if they're not getting on it, or if they're not, getting back on it, you need to talk more about Shakeology and show them the value of it. And then one other little nugget that I thought was great and made me really think about future stuff is seeking to build diamonds on your team will drive your rank, but what really drives income is when you start to have star diamonds on your team. So that's kind of where it's at. And then a couple little things from corporate. There is so many resources that we have that a lot of people have no idea about. Okay, so there's a ton of training in the back office, things like, new coach onboarding stuff. We have great systems in TeamVIP, but there's so much training for new coaches in the office. There's like a Shakeology 101 thing that if you haven't done that, you need to go and learn. You need to also scroll back down in TeamVIP. Rachel and I went live when Dr. Luigi was at NLC talking about Shakeology. If you didn't watch that, you need to go find it because it's incredible, and it will get rid of any doubt you've ever had about Shakeology being the best thing there is on the market. I would also encourage you to Google Darren Aline. I love all the videos where he's like in the African bush finding, all of these ingredients, just incredible stuff. So go educate yourself. There's so much there. Fixate, if you're not watching Fixate, oh my gosh, if you're not on the Team Beachbody blog, there's so many recipes. Y'all, we do not have to reinvent the wheel trying to find recipes. It is all there. Like I said, Shakeology. And then the guy from compliance came out and like scared everybody to death. But basically, don't promote Beachbody as a get rich quick scheme, and always use the appropriate disclaimers when you're posting about income. And one thing that I learned from them that I didn't know and I did never do before, when you're posting transformations, you need to have a little disclaimer that says results vary. That was something that I was like, oh, okay, sorry. So little nugget for that. It can also be like this big down at the bottom and like really clear font, but just put it there. Okay, now I'm going to really dive in. I'm going to see what time it is. Oh, holy moly. Okay. Fighting for balance in your business. I got the most out of all of Melanie Mitro's talks. She talked about just the balance that exists in her life. And y'all, she is the #1 Beachbody coach for 4 years in a row. Like, if there's someone to learn from, it is her. I'm busy. She has got to be insanely busy because she's built this business. But she started out really differently than how she runs her business now. And she made a lot of mistakes that we can really learn from. So the first thing I learned is you need to communicate your goals with those that are in your life. Okay, one thing that she talked about was when she first started this business, she was all in and she was like wanting to work all the time. And basically her husband, Matt, told her like, you can't do this anymore because she wasn't communicating what her goals were with him. He didn't understand the potential in this business and he didn't support it because he didn't understand. So it's so important for you guys to communicate. If you're married, to communicate what specific goals you have for your business with your spouse. If you're not married, this doesn't mean you're not communicating. Communicate it with the people that are in your lives that you're the closest with. Find an accountability partner. Find somebody, community, a sibling, a parent, and share with them so that you can have that support system that you need. It gets really lonely when you have all these huge, big goals and you're so excited, but people aren't supporting you because they don't know what it takes. So communicate that with people. Charlie's barking. Is like, yes, communicate. She also talked about where are you spending your time mindfully. So we're not just busy, but we are focusing our time specifically on specific things so that we can get the most out of that time. She said we all have the same 24 hours, right? So nobody has more time than another person. It's just a matter of how you manage your time. Excuse me. One exercise she had us go through was, we said at the end of 2018, I would be happy if, and write down 3 things. What are 3 things that you would be happy if, occurred or existed at the end of 2018? And look at those 3 goals and then ask yourself these questions. Will you be able to devote the time necessary to reach those goals and still honor your priorities? If the answer is no, maybe reevaluate your goals. Maybe set some more reasonable goals. But if the answer is yes, then go on to question number 2. What sacrifices will you have to make? We are obviously not just walking around with all kinds of free time. That's just not how people live nowadays. So you are going to have to sacrifice some things to make time for your business to be able to devote the time necessary to reach those goals. So what are those things going to be? And then why are you doing it? Always, always, always go back to your why. The next thing she talked about is scheduling. And this is by far my favorite thing that I took from NLC. So if you didn't listen to anything, schedule everything. So Rachel and I got on a plane for almost 3 hours after NLC, and this is literally what I did the whole time, as I scheduled out weeks. So I'm gonna let me go through this slide first, and then I'll show you. She prefaced the scheduling with, don't give your loved ones what's left of you, give them the best of you. So when we're scheduling our lives, you know, we talk about in our challenge groups all the time, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? That's the same thing with business. And so here is the priority list or the hierarchy of what you need to schedule. So get a Google Calendar, or you can have whatever calendar you want. Google Calendar works really well because if you'll look down at the bottom, I say to share your calendar, and this is really easy on Google Calendar. So you can share it with that person that you've communicated your goals with, and why your schedule should look that way. So hierarchy number 1, schedule family time. Before anything else, if you're single, then schedule who is your family? Is it your friend group? I know for, you know, the last 10 years, my family has been my closest friends. So I schedule that time first. Then schedule your personal time. This is your time for your personal development, your workout, you know, if you're a Christian, it's your time in the Word, your Bible study time. Schedule that. Number 3, if you have a full-time job, put that in. Number 4, appointments for the week. So those are not going to be things that are necessarily the same every week, but make sure you schedule those. And then after all of those, you schedule your personal business time. As we're growing our teams, it gets really easy to try to focus on your coaches, but you need to always be growing your business first before you are nurturing it. And so this is your power hour, your invites, you're adding to your network, your follow-ups. Schedule that. Then schedule call time, but only business building calls first. So this is like calls with a potential client or calls with a brand new baby coach to get them started right. And then you're scheduling team time. So this is personally sponsored coach calls. This is content creation for new groups. This is, you know, scheduling like rank advancement posts and things like that. And then the last one is actually schedule. I know it feels really weird, but write it down on the calendar when you're going to be unplugged. And if you are a coach, that needs to mean no phone. All right. Unplugged is not talking to other people necessarily. You can be with other people during unplugged time, but make sure, oh no, Google Calendar, leave me alone. See, we're getting into what I was just about to show you guys, but Google Calendar jumped ahead. Okay. On unplugged time, no phone. So share your calendar after you've created it, and then communicate what your goals are and why your schedule looks this way. And then decide together, especially this is more so if you're married, but decide together if that schedule is going to work for you guys. And if it doesn't, you need to reevaluate it together. So I'm going to show you real quick now what my calendar looks like. Maybe. Oh my gosh, why is it doing this? Okay. Oh, Leander, I cannot. Hold on. Got to get my personal. Okay. So here is my schedule for the week. I wanted to show you what this looks like. So I've scheduled in literally everything. So just real quick going through, you know, waking up, taking my Energize, working out, shower. I talk to Tim in the morning, craft my morning post, have my quiet time. Then I go to school. Then I have some unplugged time right after school, get my power hour in, have some time to create some new content. I have a meeting tomorrow night for missional communities, and then Tim time, and then checking in with my challenge group. And so I'm literally plugging in every single part of my day so that I know when I'm going to work on my business and when I can't. You'll see on Friday and Saturday, I've got a women's retreat for church. So things look a little bit different, but I know it so I can plan ahead of time. So I have a lot more time like on Thursday night to focus on things because I know Friday and Saturday I won't. So what I've done is I've done this, and some things I can make recurring so I don't have to do this every single week. So it's really easy. Like next week I haven't prepped at all. But look, it's already, a lot of it's here because my morning routine and school are all the same. It's just really the evening that I have to plug stuff in. So it is awesome. And then I share it with Tim so he knows that he can expect, you know, for example, on Thursday night, I really need to have some time, you know, a couple of hours to really work. And then once, you know, that's over, I'm fully devoted and can talk to him. So it's something we've agreed on, and it's just, it makes me feel so much more prepared. Melanie said this was just a game changer in her business. Okay, I'm almost done, I promise. When we talk about scheduling, not only your life, but you can schedule your business as well. One thing that Melanie said she does is basically she takes a whole year calendar, and for the whole year, she identifies potential roadblocks for her business. So things like the holidays, things like a family vacation that might be coming up. And she puts those on the calendar so she knows that that's something she needs to prepare for. And then zoom into the month. She gets a monthly calendar and she plans out what her events are for that month. So when's her sneak peek for coaching going to be? When are her challenge groups starting? When is she going to run a free group? She puts those on the calendar. And then what she does is she strategically plans out her social media posts and picks the topic based on when those events in the month are happening. So she'll look at the event, say she's got a free group starting this day. She backs up 7 to 10 days. And then she plans strategic posts about that event, breadcrumbing for that, so that she knows for the whole month what she's going to be talking about. It makes it really easy, so she's not necessarily having all of these like, you know, challenge group invite posts every single day where it's feeling overwhelming and she's just saying the same thing all the time. No, she has those strategically planned when her challenge group is coming up. I thought that was just wonderful. And then she talked a lot about not winging your posts. This is a business. You can't expect to be, and I'm going to go into the weekly piece here, but you can't expect to be in the right headspace at all times to make a good post. Just don't, because you're not going to be. There are going to be days. My life is a perfect example this week. I was in such a funk and I was not feeling it. I just was like, I give up. I hate everything. I can't talk about anything positive. And you're just not always going to feel good about posting something. You're not always going to be in the right headspace to craft something that's going to add value to people's lives. So you need to plan out your posts. And if you've done this monthly schedule thing, you know when you're going to need to be talking about certain things. So then during the week, you could have a day where all you do for content creation that day is pump out posts. You schedule posts, you write down, you know, you craft different posts, you keep them in your notes section of your phone. And then you know, okay, next Tuesday when I need to post something about a challenge group invite, I've got something crafted already. That's been really helpful for me, especially like when I have roadblocks, wonderful roadblocks like Tim coming into town when I don't want to work on anything but hang out with him because I don't see him very often. I've got those posts already crafted and I can just pull them from my notes and I'm good to go. So weekly, you're scheduling your week. Like I said, you're planning out your posts, and then daily, every single day before you start your, you know, your business time, prioritize your to-do list, and have a list that you're working from and set a timer for those specific things. And then when it's time to shut it off, okay? Treat this like a business. When it's time to clock out and be done. Okay, finally, I know that was a ton of information, but something they said that was really helpful for me was there's a lot of different people in this business, a lot of different people that run this business, and it's really easy to feel like I just don't have what it takes. I'm just not like her. I'm just not, Jen, I love you, but I will say that sometimes I feel like, I'm just not like Genevieve. How can I be as successful as she is, One thing that they said is this business is for you, okay? You just have to find your groove. You just have to figure it out what works well for you, and stick to that and be authentic, and it will work for you. One thing that I just loved was our 3, coaches that came to speak to us were Melanie Mitro, Bonnie Engel, and Kim Fitzpatrick. 3 hugely successful women, but 3 women that could not be more different from each other. And that was really, really cool to see. They were all really, really successful and all so, so different. So this business is for you. Just find your groove. Okay, I'm done. What questions do we have? That was like a lot. I know.
That was so, so good. So if you have questions, I'm not going to get in the way. If you have questions, you can either put them in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. And then Rachel, if you have anything that you want to add, you are more than welcome to chime in too about NLC or about anything. But Hayley, freaking incredible. You crushed it. It was so good. Like, I want to listen to it again.
Thanks. I'm looking at the chat. Oh, I can post the message from Bonnie in here. I'll do that really fast. Any other questions?
It was so good. I really don't have anything to add because you covered all of it. And I don't know about everybody else, but for me, anytime I get a lot of information, like this call was probably a lot of information for you. It was a lot to absorb. You do not have to implement everything right away. You don't have to wrap your head around it all right away. Like, just let some of the things marinate. And I felt so drained after NLC. Like, NLC was amazing. I wish we could go again and do it all again. I loved it. But my brain was like on overload, just trying to absorb it all and then process it all and then come back into work and be like, oh my gosh, and now I work like 1 million hours a week away and I don't have time to implement everything. And like just giving, and that's one of the things that kept, just start like taking one thing and trying it and then do another thing and think about this other. And you're not expected to, or you shouldn't put the expectation on yourself to just like, oh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and do everything different in my coaching business. But this was so good, Hayley. You took really good notes.
I was writing like a crazy person.
And while Hayley was on the plane working on the way home, I was like snoring.
So your Google Calendar is not up to date. Okay, I'm going to post this recording in the morning. I hope you guys have a most wonderful week, and we will see you on the social. Bye, team.